Have you ever pondered about the nature of change and the unity of opposites? As we navigate through life, we're constantly faced with the dynamics of transformation and the interplay of contrasting elements. Think about it for a moment. Is everything in a perpetual state of flux, or is there a realm of permanence that we're yet to comprehend? In the grand theater of existence, we see the dance of day and night, the rhythm of hot and cold, the cycle of life and death. These opposites not only define our reality but also shape our understanding of the world. But what if these seemingly contradictory elements are in fact parts of a harmonious unity? Now imagine a man who saw the world not as a static entity, but as an ever-flowing river, a philosopher who embraced change as the fundamental fabric of the universe. Let's delve into the life and philosophy of Heracleitus, a man who saw the world in constant motion. Born around 535 BCE in Ephesus, Heracleitus emerged as a formidable figure in pre-Socratic thought. Ephesus, a bustling city on the coast of Ionia, was a hub of intellectual and cultural activity during his lifetime. This vibrant setting provided a rich backdrop for Heracleitus's philosophical pursuits. Heracleitus was born into an aristocratic family, which allowed him to engage in intellectual activities from a young age. He was known for his solitary nature and was often described as a recluse. Despite his preference for solitude, his insights into the nature of existence were far from isolated. They were deeply rooted in the broader cultural and intellectual milieu of his time. His philosophies were not developed in isolation, but were part of a wider discourse that was shaping the intellectual landscape of ancient Greece. This was an era marked by profound shifts in the way people perceived the world around them. The traditional mythological explanations of the universe were being challenged by a new breed of thinkers who sought to understand the world through reason and observation. Heracleitus was one such thinker. Known for his enigmatic and cryptic writing style, he presented his philosophical insights through a collection of aphorisms and fragments. His work, titled On Nature, is a testament to his profound understanding of the universe. Unfortunately, the majority of his original writings have been lost over time, but their essence has endured through the works of later philosophers who cited and expanded upon his doctrines. He was often referred to as the weeping philosopher due to his melancholic disposition and his lament over human follies. However, this somber image stands in stark contrast to the dynamic and fluid worldview that his philosophies embodied. His Doctrine of Flux, emphasizing the constant state of change and becoming, and his idea of the unity of opposites, highlighting the interconnectedness and interdependence of contrasting elements, significantly shaped the foundations of Western philosophy. Though much of his life remains shrouded in mystery, his philosophical insights continue to resonate. His revolutionary ideas continue to captivate minds and contribute to the rich tapestry of philosophical exploration in the quest to understand the essence of existence. Heracleitus is often referred to as the Philosopher of Flux. This title stems from his belief in the fundamental impermanence of all things. According to Heracleitus, everything in the universe is in a constant state of change, or flux. The world as we know it is never static, but always in motion, always evolving. Let's take a moment to ponder over one of his most famous statements. You cannot step into the same river twice. This aphorism, though simple in its construction, carries profound implications about the nature of existence. When you step into a river, the water you touch is constantly flowing, constantly changing. If you step out and then step back in, the water you touch isn't the same as before. It's new water, different water. The river, though it may seem the same, is fundamentally different from moment to moment. This analogy, Heracleitus argued, applies to everything in the universe. All things are in a continuous state of flux, of becoming something new. From the grand revolutions of celestial bodies to the minute ticking of a clock, from the growth of a tree to the flickering of a flame, everything is a process of continual change and transformation. But what does this mean for our perception of stability? Well, Heracleitus saw stability as an illusion, a construct of human understanding. We perceive things as solid, unchanging entities because it's easier for our minds to grasp. But in fact, according to Heracleitus, nothing is truly stable. Even a mountain, seemingly the epitome of permanence, is slowly eroding, slowly changing. Our very bodies, made up of billions of cells, are constantly dying and being reborn. It's a mind-boggling concept, isn't it? This idea challenges our fundamental understanding of the world and forces us to reconsider what we take for granted. For Heracleitus, The universe was in perpetual motion, with everything in a constant state of becoming. Beyond his doctrine of flux, Heracleitus proposed the idea of the unity of opposites. This concept might sound paradoxical at first, but it is an essential aspect of Heracleitus's philosophical thought. The unity of opposites is the idea that seemingly contradictory or opposite elements are not only interconnected, but also dependent on each other for their very existence. Take, for instance, the concepts of hot and cold. We understand hot because we have experienced cold, and vice versa. They are not only opposite ends of a spectrum, but are also defined in relation to each other. Without one, the other lacks meaning. The same applies to day and night, or life and death. Day and night, for example, are not just distinct periods of a 24-hour cycle. They are interconnected stages of a continuous process. The day's light gives way to the night's darkness, and the night's darkness yields to the day's light. They are in a perpetual dance, each giving meaning to the other, each existing because of the other. Similarly, life and death are not isolated states but are part of a continuous cycle. Life begins, flourishes, and eventually gives way to death. But death, in turn, makes way for new life. They are opposite ends of the same cycle, each defining and giving meaning to the other. Heracleitus saw this interconnectedness and dependence as a form of harmony. He believed that the universe is a constant interplay of opposites, a dance of elements that seem to contradict each other but are, in reality, parts of a harmonious whole. This is the unity of opposites, a concept that challenges our usual way of thinking and invites us to see the world in a more interconnected and holistic way. So the next time you feel the chill of a winter's day or the warmth of a summer's night, remember Heracleitus's unity of opposites. Each experience is part of a larger, harmonious whole, and each opposite, in its own way, depends on its counterpart for its existence. Despite their apparent contradictions, these opposites represent a harmonious unity in the eyes of Heracleitus. Heracleitus's influence extended far beyond the ancient world. His revolutionary ideas significantly shaped the foundations of Western philosophy and left an indelible mark on subsequent philosophical movements. The doctrines of Heracleitus resonated with several thinkers who followed in his footsteps, including the likes of Hegel and Nietzsche. Both philosophers drew inspiration from Heracleitus's dynamic worldview that centered around the concept of change and the unity of opposites. Hegel, known for his dialectical method, saw a reflection of his own thoughts in Heracleitus's unity of opposites. He believed that a process of thesis, antithesis, and synthesis drives all change and progress, echoing Heracleitus's emphasis on the interconnectedness and interdependence of opposing forces. Similarly, Nietzsche found a kindred spirit in Heracleitus. He admired Heracleitus's recognition of life's inherent conflict and his assertion that existence is a constant becoming. Nietzsche's own philosophy, with its focus on the will to power and eternal recurrence, mirrors Heracleitus's emphasis on the ceaseless flux of the universe. However, not all philosophers aligned with Heracleitus's views. A notable example is Parmenides, another pre-Socratic philosopher. Parmenides proposed a radically different perspective, arguing for the permanence and unity of being. This contrasted sharply with Heracleitus's belief in constant change, and the tension between their views underscored a fundamental divide in ancient Greek thought. Despite these disagreements, Heracleitus's ideas have endured over the centuries. His original writings, most of which are lost to time, live on through the works of later philosophers who cited and expanded upon his doctrines. His philosophical insights continue to captivate minds and contribute to the rich tapestry of philosophical exploration. Heracleitus's legacy lies in his profound insights into the nature of reality and his contribution to the ongoing philosophical discourse on the nature of change, unity, and the interplay of opposites. His ideas continue to inspire and challenge us as we navigate the complexities of existence and grapple with the eternal questions of life and the universe. In a world seemingly in flux, Heracleitus's philosophy continues to captivate minds. This ancient philosopher, born in the year 535 BCE, gave us profound teachings that continue to shape the foundations of Western philosophy. His Doctrine of Flux, encapsulated in the aphorism, "You cannot step into the same river twice," challenges us to see the world as an ever-changing entity where stability is but an illusion. Yet, it's not just about change. Heracleitus's wisdom on the unity of opposites is equally compelling. He taught us that opposites, while seemingly contradictory, are intrinsically linked and rely on each other for existence. Hot and cold, day and night, life and death. These are not disparate elements but parts of a harmonious whole. As we continue to grapple with the concepts of change and the unity of opposites, we carry with us the wisdom of Heracleitus, a philosopher who saw the world in constant motion.